As always, guests on Keel heard via the Jack Spring Electric Keel Newsmaker hotline, Shreveport City Councilman Grayson Boucher. Mr. Grayson, welcome back to Keel. Thank you, sir, for taking time for us this morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me.
This UBI, Universal Basic Income thing, is do you know any more than us? Is it sort of this vague plan? Give us a little background. What can you tell us that we might not have read elsewhere?
Well, really, Robert, I really can't tell you a whole bunch about it. The first I heard about it was Monday morning, or maybe it was Tuesday morning, whatever morning it hit. Someone sent me the article from Forbes that said that we were involved in this pilot program. Up to that point, I had heard nothing about it and still really don't know a whole bunch about it other than what the mayor's press secretary said in reference to, it was going to be done with private funds as opposed to public funds. But I really don't have any particulars to share. It was a little shocking to me that we're involved in this pilot program.
Why to you as a councilman would it be shocking?
Well, I just think that right now, as far as, now that he's clarified a little bit that it's going to be private funds, I mean, if somebody wants to give their money for that, I guess it's okay. But as a city councilman, we have so many issues going on right now as far as the budget. I've got a lot of property standards issues because we don't have enough money to cut grass on vacant lots. It's no secret that the roads in District D are horrible, and we didn't get any money to fix those. We've got fire and police issues as far as pay goes. There's just several things that we need to be spending our money on as opposed to guaranteeing income. I think that if the program is what the mayor's saying it is, and I would like to hear more about it, if there are private entities that are going to do this, then I have no problem with that, because I think that's I think that right now the city of Shreveport, and I've said this to the mayor and other council members, we really just can't afford to be philanthropists right now.
But Grayson, sounds great. Everybody's going to get a check. Somebody's going to implement the program. That comes with some city workers implementing it, making sure it's working, and that comes with a cost. Or is it going to be fully funded? Everybody that's involved in it is going to be fully paid out of this private entity. We don't know the answers to that yet, right?
Right. In a perfect world, Aaron, I would like for the mayor, when something like this comes up, to at least have briefed the council on, exactly what the thinking is on this, what the cost is going to be, because, I represent probably 40,000 of the, 175,000, 180,000 people in Shreveport, and I'm responsible to answer those questions, and I should know what's going on, and as well as you, as well as the taxpayers, you and Robert both. We need to know what's going on. We need to know the exact cost of the city, because, like I said, right now, I just don't feel like we have a whole bunch of wiggle room. I mean, we were, earlier this year when COVID hit in March, we were talking about, $25 million hit to our budget. Where are we going to find? You make a very good point. Where are we going to find these workers, and what are we going to pay these workers to administer this program? So,
I don't think Mr. Soros is going to administer it himself, correct?
Which brings us to a next interesting point, Mr. Grayson. We are one of 11 pilot cities, Atlanta, I guess, being the largest, which is a pretty damn big place. We being among the smallest with a couple 100,000, I would assume that we are going to be part of a pilot program, i.e. we're just going to give this money to some people, selected people. Have you heard anything behind the scenes talking to folks about this, about who in fact might have this kind of money to fund these kind of programs? Aaron kind of tongue-in-cheek said George Soros, Silicon Valley. What have you heard? What do you know? What do you think?
Oh, I've heard, exactly what Aaron said, George Soros, Bloomberg. I have no idea whatsoever. I would love for whoever these people are to help us get our consent decree taken care of. I mean, that's costing the poor people of Shreveport every month on their water bill, and it's going to continue to increase. If we could do that, that would be great. Or if they want to help us.
Give Larry English $40 million to do Cross Bayou.
Aaron had brought up the point. If it's like 100,000 people at $500 a month would be, what was your
$50 million a month?
$50 million. It's who's got that kind of money sitting around, and if they want to help us out, there are lots of other areas. The point you've made over and over again, there's lots of other things we can spend $50 million on, right?
Right. I mean, we've got fire trucks that were bought in 1988. That I mean, when your house is on fire and that fire truck pulls up and trying to get you out of the second story window of your house and the pump goes out, I mean, there's just, and I could go on and on and on and on. But the level of shock that I said on Facebook, and I typically don't respond to things like that, but I thought this justified it because of the number of calls and emails and Facebook posts that I got asking me about this. I just feel like that right now, the city of Shreveport is not in a place to be a philanthropist. We need to worry about the basic needs of the citizens that still live in Shreveport and that will continue to live here for the next 50 years.
In other words, theoretically, if Grayson Boucher were in the mayor's seat and somebody said, listen, we've got $50 million to give to Shreveport, your first response would be maybe not a UBI, maybe, and you would try to talk them, because I don't know that the mayor's done this, Mayor Perkins. I mean, you would at least try to talk them into giving you $50 million, great idea, for stuff other than universal basic income.
I would say here are the unfunded needs that we get from every department in the city at budget time, but we just can't find the money. We have to prioritize. Here you go. Go to work. Pick the ones that you want.